Check it out, they go slide.
Okay, I screwed that up. The last video I published about the Order 1886 on the PS4, I for some reason confused MSAA, which is a type of anti-aliasing, with anisotropic filtering, and I said a bunch of things that actually aren't correct. So I'm going to redo the video now, and hopefully I'm going to get my graphical fidelity thing straight. First of all, the Order 1886 on the PS4 is going to be released pretty soon. And from what the devs and from what the marketing people are saying about it, especially this guy Aaron Sender that GamePer.com got an interview with are saying about it, there's not a lot of spin and bullshit about the Order 1886, because generally what you see when people are talking about the next-gen consoles, at least right now, is 1080p, 60 FPS, it's the best. I'm not lying, 1080p, guys, 1080p. Even if it's running at like 720p, 15 FPS, because they want to get sales. So Sender was actually really honest about it. The numbers they're getting are pretty reasonable. They're saying they can pull off 4x MS anti-aliasing on the PS4, just barely, and they're just about maxing out the console, which is pretty reasonable. The way the Order 1886 is outputted, there's some cropped black bars at the top and bottom, so it's technically not 1080p. They're not rendering the full 1080p field of view, so it's closer to 900p, and that's, for the hardware you're using, 4x MSAA, on what's basically the equivalent of a tiny bit downclock 7870 with some stream processor units disabled. That's pretty reasonable for anti-aliasing. What I'm concerned about, though, is if 1 year into the console's life cycle we're maxing it out, as we put more and more stuff on screen, as we get higher and higher texture resolutions, as we get more and more advanced physics, whether that be with fluid, whether that be building destruction, whether that be in the environments themselves, we're going to start losing that anti-aliasing, we're going to get more jaggies, we're going to have to scale back anisotropic filtering at the same time. It's not that this game looks bad, it's that I'm concerned about the fidelity of future games, which is always a concern. Games got better throughout the last gen, looks-wise, because the last-gen consoles were so weird. You had RISC processors, you had XDR memory, you had strange memory divisions, you had GPUs that were completely insane, you had some early versions of ESRAM on the Xbox 360 nobody figured out, but this gen, we've got standard consumer-grade PC hardware that developers have been trained to work with already. So that means that you can't really cry optimization, because no optimization further is probably ever going to happen. The PS4's only case where this can happen is maybe a developer, and this is almost necessarily going to be an exclusive. An exclusive developer could take it and say, we're going to use the memory, because it's a big block of GDDR5, even if it's very slow GDDR5. We can take that block of memory and we can try to use it for processing. We can use it as a huge texture cache. The only improvements we could really make are in texture resolution, which it's getting more and more difficult to just get fidelity out of that. We're moving towards where we need to have really high polygon counts, which have been reduced in quite a few games actually. So that's mainly my chief concern, is that if we're maxing the consoles out now, we're going to start losing that edge in anti-aliasing as we start trying to add more shit on the screen and trying to make more and more complex models. So what's going to happen is game quality, is shit on screen going to go up? Are we going to have this inverse relationship between shit on the screen going up and graphical fidelity overall going down, like we started to get at the very end of this gen with games like Grand Theft Auto 5? I'm not sure. It's really up in the air at this point, because I don't think there's any optimization magic coming. What do you guys think? Leave a comment. Hopefully I didn't screw this up.